So, not long ago, we were talking about two coaching hires the Oklahoma Sooners made outside of Brent Venables that I thought were slam dunk hires. And those two names were Todd Bates and Schmitty. But today, we're going to talk about a move that the Oklahoma Sooners made via the transfer portal that was sure to raise eyebrows. And of course, we're talking about Dillion Gabriel's addition to the Oklahoma Sooners. But before we do, as always, you know the drill. I want to hear from you. Hop down to the comments. Y for yes, N for no. Were you surprised at how quick Oklahoma was to respond and get a transfer quarterback this offseason? If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoy this content, like and comment down below. Those interactions are truly massive to content creators such as myself, in both getting picked up and maintained by the YouTube algorithm. But with all that being said, let's hop right into this. And I want to start at the very top because we've talked about the addition of Dillion Gabriel before. But the reason why I say it raised eyebrows is because of the way everything went down. Oklahoma was in the midst of making hires, and all of a sudden it's announced that Caleb Williams intends to test the transfer portal. When this was announced, there was a lot of talk as to whether Caleb Williams could ultimately find his way back to being an Oklahoma Sooner, but that talk didn't even last a full day before Oklahoma made their own move via the transfer portal and adding in Dillion Gabriel. That right there was the part to me that raised eyebrows. It was how quick Brent Venables and company responded to possibly having an absence at the quarterback position. Even though there was a possibility that they could have gotten Caleb Williams back, they weren't going to chance it. The staff was not comfortable putting all of their eggs in one basket and thought that if there was a talented quarterback out there that was interested in the Sooners, it would be much more conducive to success to go out there and get that individual so that if in the event Caleb comes back, well, now you have a healthy quarterback competition, which can only help. Iron sharpens iron. But at the end of the day, we fast forward and Caleb Williams ultimately didn't come back. And so now we have to look back at the addition of Dillion Gabriel as one that could have major implications for the Oklahoma Sooners' future in a really profoundly positive way. Because Dillion Gabriel is a talented quarterback, and as I always say about the transfer portal, you're going to lose players to the portal. But what the portal gives you is the ability to get in a guy such as Dillion Gabriel that we know is a talented quarterback, that we know has translated to the college game, and now we get to see what he can do in the Power 5 structure with the Oklahoma Sooners. And one of the things I'm most excited about when we talk about Dillion Gabriel is how he's going to make this jump. Dillion Gabriel was a very impressive quarterback at UCF, and the thing that makes it even more intriguing is who his new offensive coordinator is, or should I say who his offensive coordinator is, because it's not new. And when Jeff Lebby was hired as the Oklahoma Sooners offensive coordinator, I was already intrigued. A young up-and-comer in the business, he's fielded exciting offenses. And when you look at the structure of OU under the new coaching staff, with Brent Venables being a defensive-minded guy, and Oklahoma being an institution that for the past few years has been synonymous with offensive success, I was naturally interested in how Jeff Lebby's offense would translate because he has had exciting offenses, and I do believe that he will continue having exciting offenses. But the reason Jeff Lebby is so key in this is because he has a deep familiarity with Dillion Gabriel. It's not like we're sitting here talking about this being a time when Dillion Gabriel is jumping from UCF, which is a very good school, to a Power 5 school in the Big 12 such as OU, and we really have to wonder how that translation is going to be made. But he doesn't have to adjust to not only new scenery and new teams that he'll be facing and a new offensive system, he gets the familiarity of an offensive system that he flourished in. And if we look at Dillion Gabriel's career statistics, we can see that during his freshman campaign when he had Jeff Lebby as his offensive coordinator, he averaged his highest yards per attempt, and not only that, but had his highest yards through his career thus far. So we know that Lebby has had success with Dillion Gabriel and vice versa. Gabriel has continued to grow because even though he didn't have Lebby, even though he didn't replicate the 9+ yards per attempt or the yards that he'd thrown under Lebby, his completion percentage continued to get better as he got more acclimated and familiar to the college game. Now he's being reintroduced to the guy who had him start off his collegiate career so hot as he's continued to evolve. That right there is why I'm not worried about Dillion Gabriel translating in the Big 12. I think he's going to translate just fine because he's a very talented quarterback and he gets to continue a relationship with an offensive coordinator to which he's already found success under. Now you mix in the fact that he's going to have very talented pieces around him at Oklahoma. I think Dillion Gabriel is going to be in for a successful season. So at the end of the day, when you're looking at this, Oklahoma adding in a talented quarterback isn't surprising, and that's not what raised eyebrows to me. It was the coaching staff's willingness to be aggressive that raised eyebrows to me, because in my opinion, that's indicative of a coaching staff that wants nothing to do with complacency, and I'm not arguing Dillion Gabriel is Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams' ceiling is unreal how high it is. He's going to be a very talented quarterback if he continues to develop. But what I am arguing is that Dillion Gabriel is a very talented quarterback, and if you're able to get him into your system in the manner that OU did, you don't argue with it for 1 second. He's had proven collegiate success, and more importantly than proven collegiate success is proven success with Oklahoma's new offensive coordinator. Yeah, he might be having his first stint in the Big 12, but it's not like he's having his first stint in the Big 12 with a new offensive system. He gets to continue that familiarity, which is massive. And so that's why, at the end of the day, I say, the addition of Dillion Gabriel raised eyebrows for all the right reasons. And though we don't know how these are going to translate into results on the field, what I will say is seeing a coaching staff being this aggressive and not willing to be complacent has to give a fan base reason to be excited. So I can understand why the Oklahoma Sooners fan base are excited about starting their new era under Brent Venables. Because when you look at how it's happened, he's already made moves that raise eyebrows and the season hasn't even started yet. So with all that, I'm very interested in hearing from y'all. Hop down to the comments, let me know what you're thinking. That's it. See ya.